Today, I get the honor of talking to you about one of the most exciting things in the history of the world, and that is experiences. More importantly, how to create experiences that you're gonna remember for the rest of your life. I mean, think about it. When we look back in our life, it's the experiences that stand out. It's the stories we tell. It's the relationships that grow deeper because of something we did together. So today I wanna show you how to be intentional and create these moments for yourself, your family, your friends. So I wanna help you move from just hoping good memories happen, which I think is what most of us do, and I think that's honestly a terrible mistake, to actually designing these things, big, small, so that when you look back at your life is this amazing movie and it moves from one incredible experience to another. And to do that, I think we need to start with the smallest scale, what we like to call everyday magic. So these are the little things. So things that happen every day that most of us just take for granted. So life starts new every moment we wake up. And I used to let the day just sort of happen to me, but I made a profound change a few years ago. I spend time with Kelly, my wife. The minute I wake up, I do Adam, my morning routine, but then she gets back from the gym and we just sit down together and we have this daily coffee ritual, a rhythm. And it's amazing. It's predictable, and our minds crave predictability, even if we're spontaneous and crazy adventurous. This morning rhythm has become like an anchor to me in a good way. It's not just about coffee, it's about making eye contact. It's about talking about the past, the present, the future. So if you have someone like this in your life, I want you to try this. Try starting your day together. Wake up a little earlier if you have to and just watch what happens. We don't do this because we have to, we do it because we get to. It became this everyday magic. So ask yourself, what small rhythms can we establish right now? And maybe that could be something as simple as a weekly family breakfast, a Sunday afternoon walk with a friend every single Sunday, a simple game night that everyone looks forward to and counts on. These don't have to be expensive or complicated, but they're going to become a source of happiness for everyone involved. And you have to be the instigator. You have to be the creator of these things. You have to be intentional. So schedule the dinner party that happens every month at your house, the after work wine night Wednesdays, the annual summer 4th of July barbecue, or the Labor Day camping trip. Just do it. And when you do this, think outside the box. For example, we always do Easter at our house. And around 10 years ago, I had an idea. Why don't we all, after dinner, just jump in the lake? So we've got this farm in Ohio, and our lake's around 45 degrees on Easter. So it's like a polar plunge, literally. And what it's evolved into is all the guys jumping in, while all the girls sort of watch and laugh their you-know-what off. But man, it's so simple. It's intentional. And people actually bring their swim trunks over to do it every single year. And that's what we're talking about here. You just think about your life, what you already do, and just be way, way, way more intentional about it. What can you do to improve the quality of your everyday experiences? And then let's get a little more adventurous. Literally, I want to talk about the big ones, the life changers. We call them soul stealers. Things that are so epic, they push you out of your comfort zone and they change you at your core. Most people would look at these things as once-in-a-lifetime adventures, but we're gonna do them over and over and over again. Like for example, in 2018, I hopped on a plane. I flew across the country from Cleveland to Salt Lake City, Utah, took an Uber up to Ogden around the Great Salt Lake, bought a KTM 450 motorcycle, and then rode it off-road, up and over the Rocky Mountains, back all the way across the country over the next 8 days. It was 2,667 miles from start to finish, exactly. And it was one of the most incredible, greatest adventures of my life. It was a solo trip. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done. And I had multiple moments on that trip where I just wanted to give up. And there was one point where I wiped out in the red dirt of the Oklahoma Panhandle. And I said, okay, that's it, I'm done. Like, this trip was great, but I'm shipping the bike home and I'm hopping on a plane. And then within minutes, I pull up to this fork in the road and I met a guy named Thomas, who was doing the exact same Trans-American Trail, riding across the country. He had this yellow Jeep, but he was pulling his wife in a trailer who had cancer. and he mounted a hospital bed with oxygen tanks inside. And me, I was experiencing all these highs and lows, but Thomas had this huge grin on his face. And honestly, I don't know if Thomas was real, if he was an angel, but that dude completely changed me. He changed my perspective. That whole experience changed me from the inside out. And that's what we're talking about here. When you do these types of adventures, you're gonna look back and realize that they change you fundamentally at your core. When you're in the present moment, it's like you don't realize it, but when you look back at these things, they just change you. So much where it's gonna inspire others. Like the very next year, we took 8 of us. So my 3 boys, my father-in-law, and 6 friends, and we shipped 4 razors in that same motorcycle to Santa Fe, New Mexico. We proceeded over the next 10 days to ride up the Continental Divide all the way to Canada. So going up and down the Rocky Mountains, in and out of all these mountain towns, through New Mexico, Colorado, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana. My youngest son was just 11 years old, and I think he literally turned from a boy to a man on that trip. It was like a rite of passage for him. Now that's morphed into this every other year crazy guy's adventure. And I look at this as like the building blocks of a life well lived. Experiences can be joyful or difficult, planned or spontaneous. And I think the tough ones, well, they always bring us closer together. The key idea here is this: most experiences don't just happen by accident. If you want a rich life, like incredible memories and moments, you must become like this architect of experiences. Don't wait for someone else to plan that weekend outing, that dinner party, that big adventure. Don't sit around hoping something memorable is gonna happen. You have to make it happen. Create it, initiate it, be the instigator. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. Let that be your motto. Claim this role for yourself. I create experiences. That's part of my role on this planet. When you take ownership of that idea, something big shifts inside you. Start big, start small, but just start. Please don't be interested in this. Be committed. Invite a friend to try a new cafe that you both wanted to check out, or gather the family for a Sunday dinner with no screens allowed and turn that into a Sunday tradition. Arrange a weekend hike or plan a short road trip with friends to maybe a nearby town that you've never explored before. Get a little crazy and plan a dream vacation, this cross-country adventure in a van, or a family reunion where everyone contributes something incredible, something special to the experience. I think most of us are just waiting for an invitation for these big ones. Like subconsciously, we're waiting for someone to give us permission to do this stuff. So if that's you, then consider this your permission. This is your invitation to go out and explore this beautiful planet that God's created. The beauty is that once you start, once you begin, you're gonna realize just how easy this is. You're gonna see that you don't need a huge budget or endless free time to create meaningful everyday magic or incredible adventures. You're just gonna need intention, creativity, and a willingness to follow through, to commit. But once you move from interested to committed here, then life gets really exciting. At the end of it all, like the end of our lives, we're not gonna remember some work email, but we will remember the time we all laughed until our sides hurt, or the time we missed the train in Europe and we had to sleep in a hostel. I hope you're getting the idea here. So here's my call to action. Don't just acknowledge that experiences matter, act on this. So commit to being a creator of experiences. So embrace the everyday magic of small rhythms. Master this art of meaningful gatherings and jump into bigger adventures that are gonna stretch your mind and leave you with stories worth telling. Decide right now that you're not gonna let life pass by without planting these seeds of memory and meaning. Say to yourself, I create experiences. That's part of my role on this planet. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. And let that be your challenge, your promise to yourself and those you love, because when you do this, you're not just living, you're totally enriching your life and the lives of everyone around you. You're turning ordinary days into extraordinary chapters in the book of your life.